Welcome back to Time to Change. I'm Chasen Forehand.
And I'm Dr. Melissa.
And we are having conversations with people that are creating change.
And these are people that aren't just talking about making change. They are doing the change. They are the change.
And that's what makes it so unique.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to talk about it and it's awesome to be in theory, but it's even better when it's in practice. And those are the people that are here with us.
So join us for 20 plus episodes in season 7 of Time to Change. Welcome back to Time to Change. I'm Chasen Forehand, and right above me is our co-host, Dr. Melissa Robinson Weinmiller in the house. Great to, I think, is this our first or our second one that we're recording together?
This is our second. So
our second.
Yeah,
Look
moving
out.
right along.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness. You know what? We've known each other so long. It's kind of crazy. We talk to each other like once or twice a month. So It's always, when you said that you would do this, I was like, yes.
Well, I figured this is just an excuse for me to come in and act silly with you. So I love it. I hope your audience doesn't mind.
We're going to have to bring Dan on too and let him talk about what he does at some point.
Yeah.
I love that. But we're not here to talk about ourselves, even though we are. So I want to do big shout out to Maono, Maono, Maono. That is Swahili. It means vision. And we want to thank them today for all their blessings with the great podcast equipment. Thank you for supporting what we do at Time to Change. Thank you to our other sponsors. HR Consultations is my fractional HR group. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Our merch page, if you haven't seen our t-shirts, that's where you need to go to get all of your swag for HR for you. I'm just saying, love Tisha and Ginger. They do such an amazing job. Such incredible ladies. And last but certainly not least, I just talked to her this morning. Jen Lynn UBN. She is fantastic. Love all the things that she's doing. Such a creative force. She just joined our advisory board. And I met with her and Felicia this morning about marketing and branding. And I can't thank them enough for all the work that they do. Now, who is this person over here that we're standing here talking to? Stacy Heisey-Terrell in the house. Give it up, people.
Hey!
Welcome.
Wow. She has had a 20 plus year career in HR leadership and now is a career ownership coach with the Entrepreneur's Source, which is like a treasure trove of information for individuals and organizations looking to level up their career and their people skills. I mean, I was looking at the website, was looking at all the things that were there, and I was just like, oh my goodness, there's like blogs, there's like all of this information that you have, different programs in that. So first question is, tell us a little bit more about you and how you came about to get on to the Entrepreneur's Source.
Great. Well, first, thank you so much for inviting me on. I'm excited to talk with you both today. Yes, like you said, I've had a couple decades of HR experience, right? I started as a baby. So I have held a multitude of different HR positions in a number of different organizations, from large insurance companies, the small consulting companies, to even local government. Things are similar, just at different scales in all those organizations. And I found myself just pretty worn out a couple years ago. I took a little downtime. I did some consulting and trying to figure out what am I going to be when I grow up? What do I want to do? And what I noticed in really looking at my career, the theme that ran through that I really, really the most that I enjoyed, those tasks were working with leaders, coaching them to be better leaders, coaching employees to give their all or to find the right fit for them within an organization. And along the way, a lot of stuff happens, and I had laid off like a whole bunch of people. And so
Mm.
I had lots of experience being on the company side of those layoffs, and really was wondering what would it be like if I were on the other side and could help people impacted by a layoff kind of find their feet, and
Yeah.
people in a transition. And had an opportunity to work with a career ownership coach to kind of figure out, pull all this stuff together out of my journey, and had the opportunity to start my business. I'm a franchise of the Entrepreneur Source, and I get to work with people who are kind of at that point in their career where their company might have separated from them, or they might be thinking, how do I do more? Like, how do I find that alignment between my personal passions and the impact I want to make in my career? And so now I get to spend my day working with those folks who are asking those questions and looking for answers.
Very cool.
Cool. Well, I actually have a question for you, because I did a little bit of research because I was just curious. And it looks like part of what you do, you actually speak to people specifically about income, lifestyle, wealth, and equity goals.
Yeah,
So as you're actually working with people and doing this, how do you break that down into those four categories? Because I mean, part of your coaching is you coach for free to be able to, get people into a life that, is the next step or whatever.
right,
So
right.
speaking of it's ILWE, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So we call it ILWE.
ILWE.
Your
Okay.
ILWE goals. Yeah. So a lot of us have these goals in our head, right? How much money we want to make or need to make,
Hmm.
what our lifestyle, how we define work-life balance, or even community impact in there. What does that lifestyle look like? What do I want to spend my day doing? Um, a lot of my clients are thinking about, how do I build for retirement or have a career that could take me into retirement or help me do the things I want to do when I retire? How do I leave a legacy for my kids or my family? So they're kind of thinking that long term is usually a piece, right? In it too. And then how do you like, what is your ownership stake in your career? Is that, how do you define that? So people have different ideas of, what that equity looks like. And so we try to kind of define that for each person, looking at how they define success, not how society or our families or our spouses have defined success for us. How do
Love
we
that.
define success, and fulfillment? And then with that, how do you find a business model, a career that fits with that and enables those goals, rather than finding the career and then bending your goals to fit in with them? So we
Okay.
do a lot of talking about setting those goals, and then how do you align your career with those goals?
Because I noticed
Well,
on your website, you were really clear that, people, you're going to have to dig in and do the work on this. That this
good.
is not.
Yes. So my coaching is complimentary, but it does take time and energy and that self-reflection. And sometimes I do get people who are like, can I just write a check? Like, do I have to do the
Wow.
soul searching? Right? Like, can you just give me
And
the answer? I'm like, no,
can
I
I
don't
hit the
have an answer.
easy button? Is there an
Yeah,
easy
no easy
button?
button, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got to find it.
Wow. I want to pull on that thread a little bit that you were talking about when it comes down to societal norms and how, when you're coaching, you're looking for people to really understand what they view as success and what they want to do. I think that's so huge,
Mhm.
especially right now. especially right now.
Yeah.
This is an interesting job market to say the least, but even more past that, that we are in economic times and a lot of uncertainty from day to day.
Mhm.
So dive into that a little bit more about how you bring that out for people, because I gotta imagine that especially now there may be people that show up and they're like that Ricky Bobby moment, like I don't even know what to do with my hands, like I really honestly I please just help, I'll do the work but I have no idea where I'm going.
I don't know what
So
to
yeah.
do. Yes. So I get that presents itself in a number of ways, right? So
Right.
you do get those folks like I have been in the I just had a client open a his own business. He had been looking for a job for over a year and was just hopeless that he had a lot of education and kind of a niche career, and he was like, I gotta make something happen because I'm
Right.
going bonkers, right? So you get some of that, like, I have spent months yelling into the void. Nobody is yelling back. How do we get creative? Um, then you also get folks who may have experienced a layoff, and are looking at their life and they're like, how did I get here? How did I just spend 20 years doing this
Oh
thing
man.
that I'm not super passionate about? I always wanted to be something else. Like, but how do I switch now that I'm used to a salary and I kind of like the job title? Like, we dig in to that. Like, what in that is important? And, you know, like, what else could you do? Some people are stuck, right? But most people are not. Most people, there are interesting, creative options once they start letting go of, I have to have a title, I have to have this company, I have to have this name. And it's like, no, there might be something else that really makes you happy, but we got to let go of that stuff first, and identify what is it that is going to make you feel like a success. um, and I would say so many people I talk to, it's impact. They're missing impact. I've been successful at this and this. They're successful people, but they're missing, like, I'm not touching people, I'm not building anything, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
What's my legacy, right? And that's really missing. How do I get that so I feel successful, like I'm doing something in the world?
I'm glad
Yeah.
that people are asking that question.
It
I
it
mean,
is
now I'm
encouraging.
prejudiced as a nonprofit guy standing here, but I'm really excited that there are more people that are like, man, I want to do something more than make money for somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
My
love that.
husband runs a food pantry, and I'm always like, "Hey, if you would like to try something out, like, we always can use your skill. Like, find a nonprofit to plug into and
Yeah.
and use some talent there." But for a lot of people, that can be a good trial ground too, to try some things. And I'm like, you want to know what it's like to manage people? Volunteer for something. They love for
Absolutely.
you to manage a process or people,
Such a great point.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Join an advisory board. That's how
Yeah,
we hooked in this
yeah.
lady right here.
I know. Once you get them on the hook, you can just pull them deeper and deeper in, right?
And I'm hooked too, because now that I'm in, I'm all in. So
It's
I
exciting.
think to
Yeah.
your point. So you said you'd been, HR for a few years, since you were a toddler.
Yes. Yes.
But that means that you also went through that pivot, right? Whether intentionally or unintentionally.
Mhm.
So how did you feel those HR skills helped you bridge that gap, if at all? I mean, do you see that connection there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I've been laid off before too, an unexpected layoff, and and making it through the pandemic and all those things
Yeah.
that all of us have have been through. So I think that made me just more empathetic, but also more sensitive to those feelings of it is really hard sometimes to, like, almost you grieve this future that you imagined for yourself,
Yeah.
or you might have family or friends around you that kind of have to grieve that, right? Like, I thought you were going to be this or that, and when you hit a bump and you've got to, it's sad and can be really disappointing.
Yeah.
And then how do you turn and make something from that? So, I feel like I've hit that a couple times in my career. And you got to take action, right? I've also been lucky enough to see a lot of people that have had that impact, and the successful ones find action, find reinvention, throw themselves into a new path. So I wanted to be like them too. But it's scary, right? It's very scary. But there are so many great stories of people who kind of make it to the other side, right? Like, make it through the scary stuff into the, like, "Well, this is kind of exciting and new, and I'm learning things," and really different than maybe some of the toxic stuff or the icky stuff that I am happy to be released from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
and when you talk about finding your impact, do you feel like
mhm.
maybe you've either found your impact or you're on the road to finding that impact?
Yeah, I think so. There's always more, right?
Yeah.
But um, it is really special. I think a lot of my clients, like, really let me in, and then to get to watch them have those experience of, like, oh, you could see the little light bulbs coming in on rooms they never knew existed, and be part of that journey with them when they find something new about themselves, or they find a new connection, or new community to join, and are empowered with that, and kind of also that exciting of, like, it's scary, but I'm gonna do it anyway, or I'm gonna keep going. That is inspiring to me for sure.
I love that. Well, you're talking right here. Dr. Melissa is the queen of empathy. So, I mean, literally wrote a book about it. It's been on TEDx stages. It's like
Yeah.
unreal. But I love the fact that that's how you lead. Like when you're talking about your HR journey, it multiple times you mentioned the importance of people, and multiple times you mentioned empathy and other things in that regard, and
Mhm.
EQ, stuff that shows that you have a very high EQ and that you care about people. So I'm hats off to you. A big high five to high C. Big high five to high C right there. So I love that, and I'm curious. What are you excited for in the future for you?
Yeah, well, for me, so I've only been on a couple podcasts, so this is a new medium for me to reach people and to talk to people. So that's been really fun in my business, to keep finding new things that I can learn and that push me out of my comfort zone and to try new things. But also then have the chance again, to connect with communities and people that I wouldn't otherwise get to know. So that's kind of been my new thing, and in the midst of that, I'm really hoping to find folks that resonate with my message and want to talk with me and explore a little more too. So I think that there are probably lots of people out there. I just haven't gotten to connect with them yet, or find the right communities to make those connections.
Oh, I love that.
Just
You,
stretching.
well,
Yeah.
you're a natural at this, so you just seem to, you're just like, we're just gonna have a conversation. It's all good. I love that. You make it very easy. You make it very easy.
Good.
So I will love to see you on a whole bunch of different podcasts. I'll be
All
cheering
right.
for
All
sure.
right.
Yes.
Yay. Thank you.
Any other questions there, Dr. Melissa?
Oh, always. Yes. Well, yeah. Well, because I do talk about empathy, but the other side of that is I talk about leadership. And it
Mhm.
sounds like a lot of what you're talking about by working with clients and through the discovery process and education and all of that, you're actually creating a shift in leadership mindset, going from being part of, a greater, a cog in the machine to actually creating self leadership. And I
Mhm.
wondered if, you could kind of walk us through how that happens.
Love that.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. And I feel like I'm just kind of putting this together as we're talking. But
Mm.
a lot of people that I talk to, one of the frustrations that often I hear is I really like to mentor people. I like to develop teams, but now I don't get to. Or they reorged my position and now my team is all gone. And I hear that and it's like a disappointment. And so we talk about that, do you have to have direct reports to lead a team? How do you mentor when you don't have, people coming up under you? How do you find outlets for some of those feelings, and see the need for that? Now sometimes I get the opposite where it's like they gave me a big team and I don't like it. I want to go back to my spreadsheet, right? And so
Be
there's
careful what you ask for.
right,
Yeah,
that's a
for
different
real.
story, and we talked through that. But for a lot of people, it's that, yeah, I want to do something, and I want to create something for others that will teach them. And so I think, kind of growing up in corporate, we have an idea of how that works, right? And it's a limited model. But really, you know, we can, when we blow that up, we can see like, well, you don't have to have 20 people to report to you to influence people. You can do that through your volunteer work. You could do that through your small business when you have one or two employees, but you're impacting community and partners. How do you do that outside this limited model? And often that is one of the light bulbs that comes on that's like, oh, wait, this is one way of a million ways to do this. So what else is out there? How do I find something that fits? Um, but that I think, especially for kind of mid-career leaders, like that, we often put lids on those guys. And if we lift the lid and just let them go, really interesting things happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, the
Give
flip
people the
side,
tools.
yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, the flip side of that as well is even if they haven't experienced leadership, it sounds like you're guiding them towards self leadership,
Yes.
which is, I
Yes.
mean, that's a skill
Yeah.
in itself too.
That is absolutely. Yeah. And right. Like, I've wanted to take control of my schedule. How do I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that, but you can become a business owner, but that's a whole lot of responsibility. How do we identify that? What does that day-to-day look like? Is that really what you want? Again, how do we sample and do some discovery? And for some, that's really exciting. And some people go, "Ooh, I thought I wanted that. I don't know that I want that,"
Yeah.
which is good too, right?
Yeah.
And it gives, oh, need to look at some other options.
Yeah.
I
So how
think
long?
it's important. It's
Yeah.
important to know yourself well enough to know your strengths and weaknesses and what you're good at and what you're not really great at.
Right.
And there's a difference between, hey, I want to stretch and I want to learn and I want to work on things. And there's another thing that's like, yeah, I'm not really, that's not my thing. So
Right. I don't want to spend my whole day doing this. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So if I were coming on with you as a client, I mean, what kind of timeline? And I understand that, you get out of it what you put into it. So, there's a certain amount of responsibility there too. But,
Yeah.
as a client, what would they expect working with you?
I usually do assign homework kind of week to week, little bits of 30 minutes or so. For some, I hear like, I thought you were gonna give me 30 minutes of homework, but then I had talked to my wife, my husband, my friend, my mom, and woo, this is taking up my whole week. So sometimes that happens. People get really into it, but usually just a little bit of homework and then an hour meeting with me. And depending on kind of where people are headed in the journey, if they're headed to business ownership, they spend a little more time with me. Um, for some people, 1 or 2 sessions is good, and we kinda get an action plan and they get on the road or connect them with, expertise beyond mine, that can help them, so it really varies. But, I I was just talking to someone earlier today, and he was like, "Oh, I thought we were gonna have, like, a 1-hour relationship, and now it's like 4 months later and he's still kind of coming back." Like, this is interesting. And so, that happens too. Sometimes we come in thinking this is what I'm going to get out of it and are surprised with,
Yeah.
so that being open and open-minded, um, that makes a big difference too. Ready to explore.
Oh my goodness. Well, we are going to include all of your links
Okay.
so that people can get in touch with you, can reach out. I was just on your website earlier today. It looks fantastic. So I love what you're doing. I love how you've got all your contact information. It's so easy to find you. We'll give them your LinkedIn as well.
Cool.
And man, this has been awesome to have you on the show.
Thank
And we can't
you.
thank you enough for being on Time to Change. Stacy Heisey-Terrell in the house. Thank you
Woo!
so much for being here with us. And thank you, Dr. Melissa, for all the amazing questions. You always do that. I can always count on you. And thank you for all our sponsors for being here today and helping us do the work that we do. So we will catch you next time on Time to Change.